we are reading 2 books here. First one's called Ready Made Sweetie. And the second one is called Treasure Babies. We're going to read these to our kids and see if they can figure out what these books are about. What do you think those are?
Coconuts?
Good guess, Sophie.
What do you think those are, Alex?
Chickens?
Chickens.
Which came first?
The chicken or the egg? Coconuts and chickens.
Chickens. Maybe they were coconuts.
Well, let's find out, shall we? Mr. and Mrs. Cupcake were as sweet as could be, but one thing was missing. A baby, you see.
A baby cupcake. I saw baby cupcakes and small ones. Like the small ones I had on my birthday when I turned 3.
Yeah. So they okay, Teo, go sit in Daddy's lap and I'll show you. So they opened up the pantry, but much to their surprise, they had no ingredients, only empty bags inside. Poor Mr. and Mrs. Cupcake. Word moved quickly among the sweets in town. Got extra mix, we'd love it. The couple spread around. Sweet couple seeking donor cupcake mix. The days dragged by, but then a letter came. We've got extra ready-made cupcake. On the label is your name. A short time later, their package arrived. What an extraordinary gift, the cupcakes cried. Ready-made cupcake. Just take, thaw, and bake.
Just like those ready-made meals that we get in the mail these days.
Yeah.
The blue apron
Blue
or whatever.
apron,
Where's the baby?
So they poured. Well, let's see what happens. So they poured up the mix and sprinkled in lots of leaven. All that was left was a bake in Mrs. Cupcake's oven. The couple hugged and waited as they watched their sweetie grow and dreamed of all they do with their little one in tow. Ding went the buzzer, a sweet aroma filled the air. Out came their perfect little cupcake, the answer to much prayer. The end. Hey, Alex and Sophie and Teo, what do you think that book is about?
A baby cupcake.
What do you think that book is about? How much you love your baby? Well, that's true. So a metaphor is, do you remember when you're saying something is like something else?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So we have a little story to tell you about Mommy and Daddy and how you guys came to. And after Mommy and Daddy were married, we wanted to have a baby real bad, but we had a hard time. And so we went to a doctor to help us. Remember how you learned how babies come from a mommy cell and a daddy cell?
Millions of them, but there's only one can make it inside.
Yeah,
That's
here.
right.
All right. So we had some doctors help us put the mommy cell and the daddy cell together in a special medical procedure. But then, Alex, you came along, surprise, and we didn't even need the help from the doctors. And then you came along, and then Teo came along.
Yeah, by then we were
And by
pretty
then,
confident
we
didn't
were
need
done
help
with our
from the doctor.
family. But we still had these leftover, what you call embryos. We had 6 embryos left over. So do you remember what embryos are?
What?
Teo, keep your feet to yourself.
6?
Yeah, like cupcake mix in this case.
Yeah, it's like the cupcake mix in this book. So do you remember what an embryo is? When the mommy cell and the daddy cell come together and they make a new cell, and then they grow and divide. When it's a ball of cells, that's an embryo. So when we had
I want to see my embryo. There's 3 embryos?
there were 6 left over from when we went to the doctor.
We never got a picture of you as an embryo because
Yeah.
it happened the natural way.
Yeah. And so we had.
You got ultrasounds if you once you grew a lot bigger, but that's the first time I saw you.
You didn't need a doctor for me?
No.
For all 3 of you, we ended up not
We were
needing
surprised.
the doctor's help.
We
We
thought
were
we were going to,
surprised.
but
You guys were answered prayer. God answered our prayer and gave us all 3 of you kids.
A baby just magically forms since if want a baby?
It isn't magical. It's complicated biology.
What?
We'll have that conversation on another day. Yeah, so we got you guys naturally and we didn't need the help from the doctor, but we had 6 embryos left over from when we did go to the doctor. And we were like, what are we going to do with these? Because these 6 little embryos could turn into people. But our family is all complete. Yeah, we have three little munchkins, and that's enough for us.
So what did we do with the leftover embryos?
And that's what we're talking
That's
to
the
you
question.
about. That's what we had to figure out.
I wish we could still see them.
Will you stand up?
Can
Sit
we
up?
see the embryos, Mom?
Well, they're too small to see.
Well,
but
I do have a picture.
Yeah.
Time for you to go with Grandma now, okay? Because you're too wild.
Graham cracker.
Yeah, go get your graham cracker.
Let's go downstairs and
All
get
right.
a graham cracker.
The 2-year-old is going to go get a treat with Grandma
That's-
because he's wild.
The attention span expired.
Yeah,
a long
but
time
Because
ago.
he's 2.
I am the first baby.
Yeah, you were our
Well,
first
you
baby.
were.
I was the
Yeah.
second.
And you were the second
You're the
baby.
first one born.
And Teo was
Why?
the third baby.
Because I was the first baby, and
So-
I was the one that made you a mommy.
And Daddy a daddy.
Yeah.
That's right. So we had to figure out what are we going to do with these 6 embryos that we have left over because they could become people.
How?
They kept them frozen. Yeah, because that's how they keep them safe until they want to be used again. So they were kept frozen
Frozen?
at the University of Washington for all that time. They were made even before you were here. And they were sitting in a very special freezer that kept them safe all that time while we were trying to figure out what are we going to do with these embryos, because we thought we were going to use them, but then we didn't need them.
Are they still sitting in the
University.
of Washington? Are they
They
still
were
sitting?
until a few months ago.
Yeah, because we prayed, me and Daddy, we prayed and we prayed and we thought,
Are they still in that
well, if you
refrigerator?
listen, I'll tell you. So we prayed and we asked God, what should we do with these 6 embryos that we have left over? Because we want to do what God wants us to do with them, right? And so I found out there was a family that lives here in Washington. There's a woman named Mica and her husband named Thomas. And they had a hard time having a baby just like we did. And they had an even harder time having a baby than we did. And they were looking for some embryos that could become their own embryos.
How could they look if they're in your
Come sit up, buddy.
Well, they're not literally, it's not like an Easter egg hunt. They're asking around.
Yeah, no, that they were trying to find a good family who was donating their embryos because they were all done with them.
But how could they? But how could they come flying into your tummy?
With the help of a doctor.
And a turkey baster.
A turkey baster. How did you get my embryo in?
We didn't have to take it out in the first place.
Yeah, we didn't have to have the help of a doctor, but we'll have that conversation another day.
How-
That's
how-
not a conversation we want to have on camera.
How did the embryo grow?
It implants into the wall of the mommy's uterus
So
and it
nobody.
forms a placenta and it gets all its nutrition from the mommy.
Just like we watched the video of the baby growing from a single cell, just like that. And it implants into the mommy's tummy in her uterus, which is the organ where it grows, where a baby grows. So we prayed and we prayed, and we really felt like this was the family that God had for us to donate our embryos to. And so we donated our embryos to Mica and Thomas.
Do I know them?
You will, though. So they actually do have one other kid, and they actually got their son, whose name is Adler, and they got him through another embryo donation from another family who was done with their embryos. So they have a little boy who is, how old is he now? 4, I think? So he's 1 year younger than you. His name is Adler. So you know what? In, was it February? Mica transferred one of the embryos into her tummy. And guess what? She's pregnant now. Now that means? Do you remember what pregnant means?
Yes, she has a baby in her tummy.
Yeah, so it worked. And so one of those embryos is now growing in her tummy right now.
Is it completely a baby?
It's on its way. She's halfway through her pregnancy already.
So it's a fetus now.
Yeah.
So
it's about that big now.
Did the baby form his eyes? That's big.
At this point, yeah, I think the baby has eyes.
Are they black or are they still black or are they normal?
I'm not sure.
Not sure at this point. Not sure.
Not sure the details.
But we also just found out that it's a baby girl. What do you think of that?
I love that.
Yeah. So you know what? These friends of ours are kind of going to become like our family. Because these embryos, while they are while they are Mica and Thomas's children, and they are going to raise them, they are all the way their children, they still are your genetic siblings. So this is going to be your genetic
so they're related to you.
sister.
Wow.
Because they have.
What does genetic mean?
Genetic, that means that because they were made from me and Daddy, that they are like genetically, the
They
genes
were
that
made-
they have,
they
their
were
DNA
made
are like siblings to you.
They were made from the embryos the 6 embryos that we got. Sister.
Yeah, that we donated.
Or
I'm gonna show you some
are
pictures.
any of my friends' embryos donated from another family?
Not
I
that
don't
we know.
really know,
It's
but
not super
probably not.
common. It's not.
Yeah.
It's becoming more common, but it's still not super
Alex,
common.
it's kind of a new technology.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not brand new, but it's still not very common.
All right, we're gonna close the video because Daddy had to go to work and the camera kept stopping on us. But I just want to know, what do you think of all of that?
That was fun.
Yeah. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm.
We're gonna have a new member of our family, and it's a little girl, and they're gonna be kind of like cousins to you. So Adler is gonna be kind of like a cousin to you too. And this new little girl, her name is Kelby Joy.
Oh, Kelby Joy.
Do you like that name?
Yeah, I love that name.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? I think this baby is gonna be born around Christmas time.
Ooh. And they can open their presents.
And that's gonna be an extra special present for their family, isn't it?
Yeah, and then that little baby girl is gonna have some presents too.
Yeah, and we're gonna see them probably a few times a year so that you all can get to know each other, and we'll get to know them, and you can get to know them, and they'll get to know us. And it'll kind of be like your aunt and uncle and cousins. That's kind of like what it's gonna be like, even though Kelby is gonna be your genetic sister.
Yeah, I.
So she might kind of look like you.
Oh.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, she might have some curls.
Do you think she'll have curly hair just like you?
Yeah.
And blue eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet she will. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see the little girl.
Yeah. Well, she's still in Mica's tummy right now, so it'll still be another, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
That's what we got for today. Now the kids know. The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, but how did you hold them to their place?
In that special tank that I showed you.
Oh.
That was a frozen tank that kept them frozen. Yeah.
But how did you put them in the tank?
The scientists did. The special doctors did. Very carefully. Because it's precious cargo.
Yeah.
Alright, well that's it for today. If you guys like this video, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to follow us more with this awesome journey that we're on. It's only God's story. That's the only thing we can say about it. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Alright,